Can you imagine an education that puts its focus on society? An education that builds knowledge always with the main aim of improving students' immediate surroundings? Well, though it may sound utopic, it does exist, and it's called service learning. Good morning, my name is Daniel Chiva. I'm studying to become a secondary English teacher, and in this video I'm going to explain the ins and outs of service learning and also why it's such a powerful tool to improve education. Well, let's start with what is actually service learning. Service learning is an educational proposal that combines both learning with community service. This means that they both go in the same direction. Students learn the same as they learn in any other method, but the difference is that they put all this knowledge focus on society. How do we apply it? Here we have a graphic that shows the different stages of service learning. First, we've got an investigation. This means that an investigation of reality is done. Students and both students and teachers, they study what are the social needs of in the place they live. Let's say in their village, in their suburb, what is needed and how can they transform this reality. It's a kind of a brainstorming process which leads to the subsequent planning of a project, which is number 2. And finally, its implementation, number 3, or its execution. After this implementation is done, it comes a process of reflection, a process of evaluating the project. And lastly, the demonstration of the project takes place. Sometimes it's a kind of celebration, an event in which students and teachers show what they've done and show how this project can be implemented. Why is so important? Well, there are different reasons why this method is so important. First of all, the individualism is clearly a current trend in society. We have forgotten the community, and we've forgotten that many of us are individual beings that are interconnected with the rest. And now we're kind of thinking we are not interconnected. Secondly, the feeling of being useful for other people. I have the feeling that many people, many students in the in the educational system, they feel kind of useless. They feel kind of they don't belong anywhere. They cannot help any people. So with this method, they can have the feeling of helping other people, finding their place. It's a proof that small changes are possible. Well, they cannot change big things, they cannot change the world, but they can do small changes that can lately lead to further bigger changes. It's a way that students are a part of an active part in society. This means that school is not something out of the world, is not something independent from the world, but a very active part in society. Why is it important? Also, it's important because we are living now in a world where there are many different wars going on at the moment. The hate against immigrants is rising. Also, the mental health disorders are rising, And this means we're going to need a lot of volunteers in the future. Well, these students taking part in this method can be the future pool of volunteers in different organizations, which I remark which I remark is going to be very necessary in the future. Here we have some examples of service learning, which are actually examples, which are actually real examples. This means these examples have been done, have improved in different schools around Spain. The first one is a toy drive that took place in vocational training of carpentry. Before Christmas, students received gifts that needed to be repaired and fixed. So they fixed them in collaboration with an association that subsequently distributed them to children who didn't have toys for these designated dates. The second one is called Caminos Amigos, friendly paths. In this one, young people and minors have studied the area in which they live and subsequently have made proposals to the city council for its improvement. What I found most important is that they designed itineraries, points, and meeting times in which the older people help and wait the younger ones in their troubles. This is another example of service learning that took place in an English class. Basically, the students in this class started to think, they did a brainstorming, thinking what services in their town were needed of help in terms of English, in terms of English spoken people that came to town. What did these people need? So they realized that there weren't any signs in English in any of the public facilities that the town had. So, for example, here's an example of a sign that they created for the local swimming pool. In this case, it's pretty clear, right? No running in the pool, but there were many others that weren't as clear, and well, they created these signs that now are part of the town. It's a clear example that this method is able to transform reality. Now I would like you to throw you a question. I would like to throw you a question, sorry. It's a bit of a reflection in your own educational experience in the past. And the question is as follows. How do you think service learning could have been implemented in your education? Do you think it would have been useful? Please let me know what you think regarding this question. We're getting into the conclusion, and I would like to conclude with two illustrations of which Francesco Tonucci, which is a famous illustrator, but apart of being an illustrator, he is a famous educational psychologist. We can observe these two illustrations and think about the message, right? Francesco Tonucci, through satire, he questions the role of adults with children, the little involvement children and teenagers have in society, the little decision making they have, and the little margin to do what they want. This same author published a book which is titled The City of Children, where he considered what a city would be like, in which children would give their opinion about the spaces they want to have. I highly, highly, highly recommend his work, which is in the same vein as service learning. And a final conclusion, I think it's just logical. Is logic to implement service learning, because we're educating the children, we're educating the teenagers to be prepared for the world, not for a fictional world, the real world. So why not starting transforming the world while they are in the high school? Our society also needs, as we said before, society needs cooperation almost more than ever. We have to fight again all this division created in social media. We said before the rise in individualism. We almost could call this current individualism as a religion, as almost a religion. And through this presentation, I think it's been proof that this method, this concrete method, can lead to change, can change the way we look at things, can change the way we interact with our society. So now I would like again, sorry, I would like to throw you a final question. And the question is that, can you see any concerns, any problems regarding the application of service learning in education? I would love to read your comments. And all I have to say is thank you for listening, and hope you found this presentation useful. Thank you. Bye bye.